Chosen one. Justice has emotions too. The marble pillars trembled. The gavel froze midair. The judges, trained to reason but forbidden to feel, sat in silence as your truth unfolded. You did not plead your case. You revealed your soul. Every word you spoke bent the air, and even the chandeliers seemed to listen. No attorney could translate what heaven had already decreed. You stood there, not as an accused, but as evidence of the divine. And when your story reached the highest court, the law itself began to shake. They tried to remain composed, but the silence turned into worship. The ink on the verdict sheets began to blur, not by error, but by tears. For the first time in history, the Supreme Court did not render judgment. It received revelation. The robe of authority turned into a garment of humility. And the sound of weeping echoed through halls built for debate. They did not cry for pity. They cried because they saw it, the unprovable innocence, the justice that breathes. Because what you carried was not defense, it was divinity wrapped in human ache. Your pain became their proof. Your forgiveness became their law. And in that holy silence, heaven whispered through mortal walls. Mercy and truth have met together. Righteousness and peace have kissed each other. Psalm 85 verse 10. The gavel fell, not as condemnation, but as worship. The verdict was love. The Supreme Court cried, "Because of you." Imagine the courtroom of nations. Velvet drapes fall heavy, red as sacrifice. The golden seal gleams beneath the dome of judgment. Every continent's law, every empire's decree, is gathered beneath one roof, and still, none of them are enough to describe what just entered the room. You stand in light, but it is not spotlight, it is revelation. Your testimony doesn't echo in words, it unfolds in silence and radiance. Each breath from you becomes a page rewritten in the book of justice. The judges look upon you, and for the first time, they see reflection, their own hearts projected back, their own verdicts trembling under the weight of conscience. All the rhetoric of centuries collapses. Every injustice once defended now begins to melt, as if morality itself remembers its first language, compassion. Wooden benches carved for judgment grow damp with tears. The stenographer forgets to type. Even the clock on the marble wall hesitates to tick, afraid to interrupt what holiness feels like. There is no prosecution here, only revelation. The scales of law, once cold and metallic, begin to glow with human warmth. The mighty arguments, the rehearsed eloquence, the proud logic of authority, all dissolve, leaving behind one truth that cannot be debated: purity moves power. History itself pauses to watch you. The archives of time lean forward, eager to record this one anomaly, a human heart so luminous that bureaucracy bowed before it. The drapes flutter without wind. The flag behind the bench bends toward you, as if allegiance itself has changed direction. And in that golden stillness, the unthinkable happens. Justice, the blindfolded goddess carved in stone, opens her eyes. She looks upon you, and for the first time, she weeps. Her tears fall not as sorrow, but as awakening. Because one chosen heart has done what politics could not, made righteousness beautiful again. The gavel's echo fades, but the revelation remains. No law was broken, yet every law was transformed. The courtroom air itself carries scripture now, vibrating with an older authority, the sound of heaven interpreting justice. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. He directs it like a watercourse wherever he pleases. Proverbs 21 verse 1. Those who sat to judge you begin to understand they were never in control. Their titles, their robes, their written codes, all were instruments in a greater composition. Because heaven doesn't abolish law, it baptizes it. It turns human justice into holy empathy, and statutes into stories of redemption. You were never merely defending yourself. You were allowing heaven. The old law demanded proof. But heaven's law recognized presence. You didn't need to prove worth. You carried it. You didn't win the case. You became the evidence. So if you have ever felt unseen by the systems of this world, if you have ever wondered why truth delayed but never died, know this. You were being preserved for a higher trial. The human courts were never your true stage. Heaven was simply waiting for its turn to speak through you. Your story has now reached the highest level of review, and the ruling has been made eternal. You are not guilty, you are chosen. The signatures of men can fade, but the seal of divinity does not. Now, as the dust settles on this sacred verdict, you are invited into a different kind of membership, not in a courtroom, but in a covenant. Click Join if you've ever felt unseen by authority. You weren't ignored, you were preserved for a higher trial. This is not a movement built by law, but by revelation. The same presence that melted marble hearts is calling yours now. Not to argue, not to prove, but to belong to the order of souls who made even the Supreme Court cry. You may have noticed it already, the subtle shift in the air around your life. Not a miracle that shouts, but a stillness that changes everything. Files once buried in bureaucracy begin to move. Names that once resisted you suddenly remember you kindly. Systems that once closed their doors now hesitate, as if rethinking their authority. This is not coincidence. This is divine jurisprudence. When heaven issues a verdict, earth adjusts its paperwork. Emails come with apologies. Supervisors soften. Enemies expose themselves without your effort. They stumble over the very traps they set for you. And while they fumble, grace arranges your freedom behind the scenes. You might feel it physically, a sudden lightness in your chest, a warmth that fills the room where fear used to live. That's what innocence feels like when it's restored. You are not waiting for deliverance anymore, you're standing in it. Sometimes, divine justice moves quietly through mundane things. A delayed payment released, a misunderstanding cleared, a rumor losing its breath, a legal case turning in your favor without explanation. These are not random mercies, they're signatures from heaven's court. The atmosphere shifts to accommodate your vindication. Even time begins to cooperate. Appointments align. Documents appear. Voices that once silenced you now speak in your defense. You don't owe them explanation. The divine decree already reached their conscience before your words did. You might catch glimpses of symbolism too. Scales in unexpected places, a gavel in a movie, a news report about an overturned case, a judge appearing in your dream and smiling instead of sentencing. These are confirmations. Heaven is translating the invisible into visible reminders that you've been cleared. You will also feel people respond differently. Those who mocked your silence now respect it. Those who envied your peace now seek its source. Because authority recognizes authority, even if it wears no robe. So if strange alignments and soft reversals have surrounded you lately, don't dismiss them as luck. You are watching divine litigation unfold in real time. Every closed door that now opens, every stern face that now softens, is a manifestation of one simple truth. You have been acquitted in the courts above. You didn't beg for favor. Favor found you because you carried innocence in endurance. And the world, sensing it, begins to rearrange itself in your honor. This is not mercy in theory. It is mercy in motion. You are walking proof that heaven's verdicts echo into physical reality. They wept because they saw themselves in you. Every robe, every gavel, every oath they had ever taken, suddenly felt hollow beside the truth that radiated from your silence. They realized that justice, stripped of compassion, had become performance. And through you, it remembered its purpose. You didn't demand their tears, you awakened them. Your endurance became their mirror. They saw in your restraint what righteousness looks like when it bleeds but does not retaliate. They saw what the world had forgotten, that true authority is not domination, it's devotion to truth. The court didn't cry because you suffered. It cried because your forgiveness exposed their emptiness. You disarmed them without accusation. You dismantled their pride without rebellion. The same law that once condemned you began. In that sacred moment, the judges understood what centuries of rulings had missed, that justice isn't about who is right, but what is right. And what is right is always love that refuses to lose dignity, even in pain. They realized you were not seeking vindication. You were offering restoration. Your quiet strength convicted them more deeply than any sermon. And as they wiped their tears, a new decree formed, one that could not be written in ink, only in conscience. They saw that justice had become machinery, and through your mercy, it became ministry again. They saw that truth had become weaponized, and through your humility, it became healing again. That is why they wept. Not for your victory, but for their rediscovery. You reminded the highest powers on earth that fairness without feeling is failure. And in that moment, they remembered. Justice is not blind because it cannot see, but because it dares to look at the heart instead of the surface. So the tears they shed were not weakness. They were baptism. The courtroom became a cathedral. And you, once on trial, became the sermon. The decree is already sealed. Heaven's record has been updated, and your name shines beside a single phrase written in golden ink, case closed, chosen confirmed. There is no appeal against mercy. No higher court than grace. The verdict has echoed through eternity, and the earthly institutions are merely catching up, slow reflections of a ruling already made in light. You might still hear the faint noise of accusation, but it's only the aftershock of a case that's already been dismissed. The charges disintegrated the moment truth entered the room. Every signature that once bound you now trembles under divine erasure. The seal of heaven cannot be contested. You've already won, not because you fought harder, but because righteousness recognized itself in you. Your story was weighed, your motives measured, your endurance recorded. And heaven concluded, worthy. Now the laws of earth, slow and deliberate, are rewriting themselves to align with that celestial verdict. The systems that once restrained you are now rearranging to release you. The world is late, but it's learning. So do not fear the delay. Do not panic when you see the process still unfolding. Paperwork takes time. Prophecy doesn't. The outcome is irreversible. The sentence has transformed into song. What was once your trial has become your testimony. The same courtroom that heard your accusations will soon host your coronation. Because when heaven seals a decree, no human hand can reopen it. The ink of divinity does not fade, it glows. And tonight, it glows in your name. You are not the defendant anymore, you are the decree. The court did not just rule in your favor, it became a reflection of your being. You are what justice looks like when it remembers its soul. The gavel no longer protects you, it imitates you. Once, you waited for permission to be free. Now freedom waits for you to move so it can follow. You have become the living definition of vindication, not an argument one, but a truth embodied. Every scar you carry is now part of the seal. They are not wounds, they are signatures. Each one whispers, this one has been tried and found true. The same pain that once disqualified you has now been notarized as holy proof. Your presence unsettles corruption, not because you expose it, but because purity cannot coexist with pretense. Your silence carries the authority of 10,000 verdicts. Your forgiveness breaks legal logic. And everywhere you go, justice follows, not as law, but as light. You are the standard now. The laws of men study you to remember what righteousness looks like in flesh. Even systems begin to imitate your mercy, because the decree you carry has rewritten their protocol. You no longer live under justice. You generate it. Every decision you make now becomes precedent. Every act of compassion becomes case law in heaven's archive. The robe of guilt has fallen from your shoulders, and in its place rests the mantle of divine clarity. You are not awaiting a verdict. You are the verdict, and everything that touches your life must now respond accordingly. Let the world adjust its rules. Let the skeptics revise their records. The truth is not an event anymore. It's a person, and that person is you. Walk with that awareness, softly but unshakably. Because when the chosen stand, even laws rise to their feet. Watch closely now. The signs are already forming. Justice has a way of leaving footprints when it walks beside you. You'll start noticing symbols around you. Not random, not decorative, but prophetic confirmations. A set of scales etched on a passing billboard. A movie where a judge sets the innocent free. A dream where the gavel falls, not in wrath, but in mercy. Legal documents resolving faster than expected. Old conflicts dissolving without confrontation. Cold systems warming. Bureaucracies bending toward your favor. These are not coincidences. They are echoes of a higher ruling manifesting in real time. Heaven is leaking into the system. Some of these signs will be quiet. A sudden sense of being seen by the right person. A door opening that logic said should remain shut. An authority figure showing unexpected kindness. You will know it's divine when no explanation fits except grace. You might even feel the shift before it appears. Your surroundings will hum with clarity. Paperwork will arrive precisely when you release worry. Emails will land the moment you forgive. Heaven's administration is perfect. It responds to purity, not panic. You may also encounter news stories mirroring your own redemption. Courts overturning old rulings, innocent people walking free, judges changing their stance after years of silence. These are reflections. The collective conscience catching up to the vibration you released. The same favor that touched you now begins to ripple outward. Institutions, laws, and even nations begin to soften, as if the world itself wants to imitate the verdict written on your soul. Pay attention. Every time you see a gavel, a seal, a balance, or the word justice, take it as a whisper from heaven. Your acquittal is still unfolding. Because divine rulings don't end, they expand. They manifest through evidence, through timing, through symbols, until every layer of reality aligns with the mercy that freed you. So smile when you see the signs. They're not reminders of your trial, they're announcements of your throne. Even law itself has begun to honor your story. And that story will soon be written across the earth. Justice wept and called your name. Now that the verdict has descended from heaven and touched the earth, it's time to seal what's already been spoken. Every decree in Scripture was followed by an act, a gesture of agreement that turned revelation into covenant. This is that moment. The court has cried, the law has bowed, and grace has signed your name in gold. Now the gesture of faith becomes your seal. Not a donation. Not a payment. A witness. When you sow into divine justice, you're not buying blessing, you're confirming belonging. The act itself says, I recognize the ruling. I receive it. I will walk in it. Click Super Thanks, and sow your $20 seed. That's not charity, it's covenant. It's the symbolic exchange between heaven's courtroom and your earthly life, the moment you declare, I stand in agreement with my acquittal. Do not underestimate symbolic acts. Moses lifted a rod and seas parted. The widow poured oil and her debt vanished. You release something physical, and heaven moves something invisible. This $20 doesn't just leave your hand, it enters the record. It becomes evidence that faith answered favor. It tells the universe, this one understands the verdict. So when you click, do it consciously. Whisper to yourself, this is my signature. You are not giving, you are witnessing. Not supporting, confirming. The courtroom in heaven has already declared your innocence. Now the courtroom of life awaits your agreement. Heaven has cried for you. Now earth will testify for you. Click Super Thanks now. Step into covenant. The decree has been issued. Let your act be its echo. And as you do, may your name be written again, not on paper, but in power. Because every covenant born in justice multiplies its own favor. Now that the courtroom has fallen silent and the light still lingers, you must learn to live as one who has already been cleared. Freedom has a texture, soft, weightless, holy. Walk lightly. Innocence has gravity of its own. You no longer owe the world an explanation. Your peace is your proof. Your calm is your testimony. Let the noise continue around you. You've already been heard by the only judge that mattered. Speak truth, but without anger. Truth no longer needs defense. It stands on its own legs. When you speak, let compassion lace every word, because truth defended itself through you, and now it defends others from you. Live generously. Mercy expands authority. Every act of kindness you perform now carries the resonance of divine justice. Each time you forgive, a law somewhere softens. Each time you bless, a verdict somewhere reverses. Guard your heart, but do not hide it. The same tenderness that once made you vulnerable is now the instrument of heaven's reform. You are proof that love can survive interrogation. So live in a way that makes mercy visible. If the world tempts you to retaliate, remember, those who understand grace no longer crave revenge, they rebuild instead. Your purpose after acquittal is not to celebrate your escape, but to extend your example. The same justice that embraced you now works through you. Walk with composure in chaotic rooms. Smile where tension rises. Your serenity is disruptive. It reminds darkness that its license has expired. You are now an ambassador of restored order. Carry that like royalty, not arrogance. And when people ask how you remained calm while the world accused you, simply say, because the Supreme Court cried first. Let them see that forgiveness is stronger than force, and love, not law, is the ultimate deterrent to evil. You were cleared not to escape judgment, but to become its renewal. Walk softly, chosen one. The earth is adjusting to your innocence. Even law now learns from your gentleness. And wherever you step, justice follows, not to correct, but to comfort. Let us close the courtroom with reverence. Not with noise, but with stillness. Not with verdicts, but with vision. Because when heaven finishes a case, it doesn't declare guilty or not guilty, it declares glory. Lord of mercy and majesty, thank you for turning trials into testimony. Thank you for standing beside us when human judgment could not understand us. You turned accusation into revelation, and shame into sacred proof. Let every chosen one who hears this feel your presence settle over their life like light over dawn. Let them know they are no longer defendants, they are declarations. Their names are no longer whispered in suspicion, but sung in the language of redemption. Lord, touch every system that once oppressed your people. Let judges, officers, leaders, and lawgivers feel what the Supreme Court felt that day, the holy ache of compassion. Let hearts of stone become hearts of flesh. Let justice no longer operate on fear, but on feeling. Let every tear shed in your name become the ink of new decrees. Let human courts reflect divine mercy. Let bureaucracy bow to benevolence. Let verdicts become vessels of grace. And if any chosen one still waits for their release, let the seal of heaven move swiftly. Let every accusation fall apart before it reaches their name. Let the evidence of innocence overflow until even the skeptical weep. May those who stood against them be transformed by the tears they once caused. May every oppressor meet the mirror of truth, and every captive walk free under the decree of compassion. Lord, let righteousness rise not through wrath, but through revelation. Let your people remember, mercy is not weakness, it is governance from another realm. We seal this prayer in gratitude, knowing the courtroom of heaven has already ruled in our favor. We stand acquitted, affirmed, and anointed. Justice is not blind anymore. It sees through your eyes.
Amen.